we are bringing the workouts to you.
Hey guys, my name is Steven.
I'm Carrie.
And we're from Rise Athletics and Wellness. And we are not currently able to hold in-person sessions here in a group environment at Rise. We're going to lead you through a workout that is going to be circuit style. So you're going to work for 40 seconds and you're going to rest 20. And we're going to move from exercise to exercise through 5 exercises, and we're going to do 4 rounds of those 5 exercises. So first up here, we're going to do a squat. So with a squat, what Carrie's going to do is she's going to sit back into sort of the back of her hips, like she's going to sit down in a low chair. Yep, so she's going to descend into the squat, and her center of gravity and her weight are sort of put sort of back here so that her weight is kind of distributed over her ankle. She's going to drive her hips forward and come up out of the squat, squeezing in the glutes at the top. She's going to sit back again. Notice that her knees track outward as she sits back, and then she's going to push her hips forward and come back out. So I'm going to get Carrie to get into the plank position here. We're going to do the push-up. So from the plank position, she's going to allow her shoulder blades to come together and her elbows to come back behind her. And then from there, she's going to push out of the bottom. She's keeping her glutes tight and her core engaged, like she's bracing for somebody who's going to punch her. So if that's too difficult, you can always drop to your knees. Carrie, can you give me an elbows wide rep, which would be incorrect? So this is dangerous because it puts your shoulders into a dangerous position, and you're much more likely to hurt yourself as you're doing these. You're going to feel stuff up here in your collarbone maybe, or even in your front delts. Okay, so after that, we're going to be doing a glute bridge. So Carrie, I'll get you to flip over, lying on your back. So while she's on her back here, she's going to bring her heels in, sort of here parallel. There we go. Good stuff. She's got her stance at about hip width apart. Excellent. And now she's going to squeeze her glutes and push her hips up into the air. And so this works with her glutes and hamstrings, and as well as your core. But mainly it's going to be, you're going to feel it in your glutes and hamstrings. She comes back down and she drives up again by squeezing. You want to get the majority of your contribution to the exercise from the glutes, and then your hamstrings are sort of secondary in terms of how intense the squeeze should be. So you should feel most of the squeeze in the glutes and a little bit of squeeze in the hamstrings. And that is how you would do it. Kind of pushing up and down and up and down. From there, we're going to be doing the skydiver. So I'm going to get you to flip over, Carrie, again here. And here we're working the upper back. So she's going to squeeze her shoulder blades together here, yeah, to come back. And then she's going to squeeze her glutes, and that's going to lift her feet off the floor. Now I'm going to get her to extend her hands out and forward, and then squeeze back down here. So she should have lots of tension here, and then she's going to reach back, up overhead, yeah, and down here, and back overhead, and down, and overhead, and down. And she should not feel it much in her low back. If she does, she's not correctly squeezing her glutes. So you may need to come down each rep even to reset and get your glutes squeezed and a good contraction from them again. You should reach overhead and back down, and you come down, all the way down, yeah. And then you would reset, determine that you're going to squeeze your glutes, back up overhead, back down, and good. And so then from there, we're going to finish off with something called heel touches. So these are going to work the sides of our core, our obliques. And so she's going to be lying on her back. And now all she's going to do is she's going to attempt to reach to touch her heel on the right side here. She's going to reach her hand there, and she kind of has this sort of shifting of her torso. Now she's going to reach to this side, touch there, and then she's going to reach back this way, squeezing her abs down like so in order to get that action happening there. Back and forth. She can make this more difficult by forcing herself to have to reach further by bringing her feet further this way. And of course, she can make it easier by bringing her feet closer to her body.
Hey guys, we're gonna get warmed up here. So let's just start with a nice jog on the spot. We're gonna go for about 20-30 seconds here. About halfway through. So for a little bit of a sprint, so just pick up that pace. Just 5 seconds of that, we got it. And then back down to a jog for just a few seconds here. And good. Okay, let's get the shoulder joints warmed up a little bit here. So I'm going to start with some arm circles, just starting backwards first. Getting a little bit bigger as you go, but starting nice and small. And then we're going to change to the other direction. So going forward, starting small again, getting a little bit bigger as you go. And good, we're going to get the chest and upper back warmed up a little bit. So now we're going to go nice and wide into that self-hug. Okay, we're going to move it to the torso next. So just getting a few of those twists through the torso.
Looking forward to those push-ups.
Okay, let's get the hamstrings warmed up. So let's go for some toe touches. Not necessarily locking up the legs, but pushing the hips back, reaching down, just as far as you can. Getting the back of the leg a little bit of a stretch here, the hamstring.
Don't force the stretch here a whole bunch. It should feel good. It shouldn't feel like you're straining to get, your hands all the way down to your toes.
Okay, let's do a few lunges here. So I'm going to take a step back, drop that back knee down, keep that front foot in contact with the floor, and push back up. Let's go for 5 per side here. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, switching over to the other leg. Still making sure I'm actually dropping that back knee down. Front heel stays in contact with the floor, not coming up onto my toes. I think this is 4 and 5. Okay, awesome. We will get to it. So like Steven said before, we're gonna go 40 seconds on. You're gonna get 20 seconds rest between switching to the next exercise. So we're gonna start here with the squat, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go here doing squats in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Right, so like I mentioned earlier, right, Carrie is placing or kind of pushing her hips back, and she's trying to get her weight kind of over her ankles here, but mid-foot area, right?
Turn.
And if she can turn to the side, yep. There we go. You can see she's getting quite deep, and the reason why this is safe, if she's doing it correctly, which she is here, is that, and she has no underlying conditions, is that, again, her hips are nice, quite far back, and it allows for her to get her weight evenly distributed front to back. Okay, from there, guys, we're going to get ready, and we're going to be doing the skydivers with the overhead arm extension or the overhead reach. So now, we don't want to just think about arching our back. I know in gym class, a lot of us have thought of skydivers as this exercise. 2, 1, let's go! A lot of us think of this exercise as one where we were going to arch our backs because we want our chest and our shoulders to lift off here, and we want our legs to lift off over there. So this being the middle means this is going to be the bottom. Well, it is, but at the same time, it's much more helpful to think of it as a glute squeeze and a hamstring contraction, and then our shoulders are lifting off by us retracting or squeezing our shoulder blades together, and that only becomes more and less kind of exaggerated as we pull down and reach up and out. Good stuff. Keep it up, Carrie. All right. Okay, so now it's Carrie's turn to coach me.
Bring it into the hip bridge next. So lying on our back. Here, even though it's a lower body exercise, he's still going to pull his shoulder blades underneath him for a good stable base. And then when the time comes, he's going to think about squeezing his glutes. The glutes lead the movement here. 2, 1, and let's go. So he's going to squeeze his glutes, lifting his glutes off the ground, just coming up. He doesn't have to push all the way through to hyperextend his lower back, right? He's just pushing up till his hips come to a nice straight line with his knees, and then back down. Here, really making sure he's focusing on the glute squeeze, exhaling as he comes up, controlling it back down, and then into that next rep. Okay, if you are feeling your lower back, you might be just pushing a little too far through with those hips, so be careful on that. And then he's also not pushing through his toes, right? He's pushing through that full foot, making sure he's not using the calves a lot. And rest. Okay, we're going to push-ups next. So flipping back over. You might need to back up a bit there. Yep. Okay, so he's going to get set up. His wrists are below his shoulders here, right? Not out in front of his body. 2, 1, and let's go. So as we mentioned before, we are demonstrating, right? His elbows are coming back. They're not coming out to the sides, right? His shoulders are coming together. They're not rounding up towards his ears. Making sure he's squeezing his glutes, keeping his core engaged. Even though this is an upper body, right? Everything plays together here. And still making sure you're breathing through it, right? Big breath at the top, lowering yourself down, exhaling as you go up, helping you push out of that lower position. Good work, everyone. You got 5 seconds. And rest. Okay, last one we're going to do here is the heel touches.
All right. Yeah, I guess you back down.
Yeah. Okay, so working the obliques here.
Okay, guys, we're going to go here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'll get Carrie to reach for the right heel here. Yep, there we go. So the other thing Carrie's thinking about is she's a little bit like a mummy, right? She's going to be reaching for her heels, but she's not, trying to like disjoint her shoulder. What she's rather doing is, in order to get that distance accomplished, right? She's simply contracting and shortening the distance from here, rather than trying to jam her shoulder down or out or whatever to get that heel touch happening. And like I was saying earlier, she can make this easier or more difficult if she brings her feet in or out. So rest. All right, guys, that is 1 round through. Carrie's gonna go back into the squats here for the 2nd round. So we will only be demoing 2 rounds. However, we would recommend, probably most people are gonna feel the most effectiveness from this by doing a repeat of this. So doing 4 total rounds. But for timeliness sake, so that you don't have to watch us work out for 45 minutes, we're gonna do it this way. So if she wasn't feeling very confident at the bottom of her squat, what I would recommend then is that she instead sits down to either some sort of chair, a bench, some stairs maybe, or even a sofa, right? And that just gives her support out of the bottom if she gets stuck there. Okay, good stuff. You guys are gonna rest, and then we'll switch over here. And okay, we're gonna go here in 3, 2, 1. So perhaps a way to modify this, if you're feeling it in your low back a lot, is, Carrie, I'm gonna get you to bring your legs down off the floor, or down onto the floor. Keep your glutes relatively squeezed, like don't squeeze them hard, but just kind of keep them there. And now I'll just get you to reach overhead. Yeah. Now bring it back down. And you might find, since there's a little bit less of a, of a cave in here, of a dip there in the low back, that you're gonna find it's a little bit easier on your lower back. It's not to say that the previous version was bad, it's just that what's going to work best for you. And we have to always think about what's going to applicationally be the most appropriate for your given situation. Okay? So.
Steven's going to get back down into glute bridge position.
Carrie, how do we make this harder?
Putting me on the spot there, Steven. We didn't script this part.
We didn't.
You can change it to get a little bit more hamstring activation by not necessarily harder, just different. And let's go by walking your feet out a little bit further, right?
Right.
What we call a long leg bridge hold. Still squeezing the glutes to lift you up out of that position, making sure you're not overextending to hyperextend the lower back. But now it's not just his glutes, right? His hamstrings are a little bit more engaged with that further out position. Remember, you can always start to walk them back in a little bit if you need to, or even just go back into that first position there. Okay, he can also choose to hold it longer versus coming up and down immediately, right? A little bit more tension at the top, or a longer pause at the top there, and then still going down into the next one. Okay, and rest. Now we're gonna go back into those push-ups. So still making sure he's set up with his wrists below his shoulders. Shoulders are set back, they're not up here by your ears. And then if this gets a little too hard, remember you can always drop down to the knees or even do it from an incline position.
Right. So an incline position would just mean that you're doing it from either, like you're doing them off a bench or a chair or a sofa or a coffee table, basically any sort of stable, sturdy object.
Yep.
So I'll demonstrate them from the knees here, the second round. Not because I'm tired, I just gotta demonstrate them from the knees, right? That's all. Please bear with us.
And let's go.
Okay. So
Back into that push-up position.
just because I'm doing these from the knees, it does not give me a license to not engage my glutes. So this is something I very commonly see when we're doing group training, is people kind of sit back in their hips a bit like this, and then they start to make their push-ups look a little bit like this, right? So there's a couple issues here, right? First of all, I don't have myself in any sort of plank. So what I'm going to do is squeeze my glutes there.
Yep, bringing him back to that straight line from his knees up to his shoulders here. And then he's going to go into that next rep. So still keeping that straight line, his shoulders aren't dipping down without his hips, right? He's a lever, it's like a stiff board moving up and down. And rest. Okay, we'll finish off here with the heel touches.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. All right. And so this might be the most, quote unquote, easy, at first at least, of the exercises. What I will say is if you have any sort of, potentially, like you do have a history of back issues, some sort of disc bulge or something, this might not be the best exercise for you. Instead, what I would get you probably to do in this case is I would probably get you to do a side plank where you're working against gravity to not have your spine flex. And so you work your obliques that way. And a lot of people have seen a side plank. So that would be my recommendation there. Awesome, awesome, sweet. That is it there, guys. Thanks for joining us.